American 635, contact Map Center 126.45.
2645, American 635, good day.
Citation 6 X-ray Zulu, contact Atlanta Center now, 124.75, good day.
Over to Atlanta on 2475, Citation 6 X-ray Zulu, thanks for the help.
Hello Center, Frontier 1609.
For 73 Bravo.
133.72.
3372, 73 Bravo.
Atlanta Center, Citation 736 X-ray Zulu, flight level 390.
Citation 736 X-ray Zulu, Atlanta Center, Roger, maintain flight level 390.
Maintain 390, Citation 6 X-ray Zulu. Alright, so we have pretty much, let's get back out here, we passed Nashville, and right here is the Blue Ridge Mountains that we're coming up on. Here's the Atlantic Ocean, Atlantic coast of the United States. There's Florida down there, there's the Gulf, Great Lakes up here to the north. And so we're going to be crossing these mountains, and there's the volunteer VOR. So I want to go ahead and start planning our descent into Charlotte. So we're going to go back and use the feature in the utilities page, VCalc, and the arrival that we are on, the Johns 3 arrival, we're supposed to cross Shine intersection at 12,000 feet, 250 knots, according to the arrival. So I'm going to put in 12,000, 2,500 foot a minute. I'm happy with that. And let's go down and find Shine intersection. It's right there. So that looks like we're going to want to start a descent in about 5 minutes. So didn't do that too quick, that's for sure. So while we're waiting on that, let's go back and we'll go ahead and set some radios up for the arrival to into Charlotte. Actually, let's go to the waypoint page, airport, and let's put in Charlotte, Kilo Charlie Lima Tango, and enter that. So frequencies are there, okay, and what we're going to want to do, I'm going to put the tower, we're going to use approach control frequencies over here, but I'll put the tower and ground control in over here. So go down, there's the tower, 118.1, and that is the tower that we want, so we'll put that in there. It's in COM 1, we're on COM 2 here, talking to center, no problem. And then ground controls 121.9, so we'll go ahead and put that into standby. And looking at the approach control, let me double check that frequency. Charlotte approach is 134.75, so there it is right there. So I'm going to put that actually over here in COM 2, 134.75, and that way my radios will be set up for the arrival. There we go. So we got all that done, and we go back to our map. And let's see, we're coming up on the volunteer VOR, which is the beginning of the arrival, and we are just a few minutes away from beginning to start our descent. Right now we're doing pretty good. We've got 106 knot per hour tailwind, 502 knots. And our fuel right now, we've still got a little over 1,000 pounds in each tank, so that looks good. Everything's looking good for our arrival in Charlotte, except the weather. And that reminds me, we do need to tune in the ATIS, so I'm actually going to put the ATIS in here. We can worry about ground later. So let me go back, Charlotte's ATIS, and pick that up real quick. Airport, frequencies, ATIS 121.5. So I'm going to put that in, actually the active frequency, and we're going to monitor it right here. That way we'll hear it when we can pick it up, and that'll be ready. Then we'll have the tower in standby. All that's good. Like that even better. Okay, so just trying to get a few things done. Keeping an eye on when to begin that descent. If center does not start us down before, we'll ask if we can get down, cleared down lower. famous people that are from Charlotte, have either lived there in the past, grew up there, or live there currently. Well, Cam Newton, Carolina Panthers, that's one quarterback. And if you can't tell, I am a Carolina Panther fan. Like the Panthers, always liked them. They've had a pretty good team over the years. They got a really great franchise there. So shout out to the Carolina Panthers. Maurice Williams is a songwriter and performer of Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs, famous for the song Stay. If you're old enough, you probably know that. Ric Flair, professional wrestler, is from the Charlotte area, and Ric Flair is still able to deadlift 450 pounds. I just saw that on a Facebook post the other day, and of course that's reliable. Everything you see on Facebook is true and accurate. So yeah, Ric Flair is from Charlotte area. Richard Petty. So I got a story about Richard Petty, but he actually lives up in Randolph County, and Petty Enterprises is located there. And Richard Petty is a super nice guy, and I actually had an opportunity years ago to interview him for a community programming event. He had just won the Daytona 500. It was his 200th win celebration. Daytona was over the 4th of July. Ronald Reagan was at the race, and we were filming the celebration, and I was asked to interview him. I had no experience interviewing anyone, but I was young and dumb enough to say okay, and so I interviewed Richard Petty and asked him a few questions. And one of my questions was, hey, Richard, why do you wear those sunglasses all the time? And he had a pretty good answer. He said, well, for one thing, my sponsor, STP, is on the side, and secondly, my eyes are sensitive to light. You know, sort of like pilots wear sunglasses lots of the time. So, yeah, that was it. So we're getting a message that we're ready to start our descent, and Charlotte has not, Atlanta has not cleared us down, so I'm going to ask if they will. Center Citation 6 X-Ray Zulu, we'd like to get lower.
Citation 6 X-Ray Zulu, descend pilot to station, flight level 230.
PD to 230 for Citation 6 X-Ray Zulu. All right, so we've been cleared down, so we'll go ahead and 230, we'll put that in right over here. And we're going to go ahead and dial our vertical speed down to 1,500 feet a minute. And what we'll need to do is reduce power just a little bit to keep from overspeeding. And let's get this nose pointed down. And we're going to use 2,500 foot a minute. And we'll see if we can catch up there. Because once we go down, it's calculating it based on 500 knot ground speed. As we descend down, we're going to lose some of that speed because we're going to lose some of our tailwind. And I better pull the power back. I don't want us to overspeed, so I'm going to watch the speed tape there and also peep out the window and make sure we don't run over anybody. But we are descending down into Charlotte in our descent. So we want to do our descent checklist, and one of the things I know we want to do is get our defrosters on our windows. So let me pull that checklist out, and you can see our nose trimming down, just keeping an eye here. Everything's looking good, so we'll go ahead and we'll get these steep fans on high over here, and we'll come in actually over here, cut these valves up full blast, and we can cut the windshield bleed air down into low, and that'll start warming up that windshield. Let's see, pressurization is pretty much automated. We should see it begin to descend at some point. So we're going to assume that's okay. Throttles, and we'll check our power setting. And we're staying below. I'm not worried about the 2,800 right now. We can speed up our descent a little bit if we need to. We'll just hold what we've got right now. And landing data. So we'll look at our weight and see how we're doing on weight. Gross weight right now is 10,000 pounds, so based on that, VREF will be 140 4 knots, and the approach speed would be 110. So we can go ahead and get those dialed in. So let's come over here and bring up those V speeds. Let's see. There's VREF.
You know what? Just do first. I think there's one before that. From the speed at first.
Let's see. There we go. And approach speed was. There we go. I got to get it up there. 100 and I'm looking 110, I think. I'll double check it, but let me scroll it up. I don't like to have my head down this long, but go ahead and set this up early so we won't be worrying about it. So V approach 110 and V ref was 104. So we're good with that one. And let's see if we can scroll down to there and set this one. And I wish it didn't go all the way back, but it does. So that's okay. We'll get there. 104. And we'll have these set and ready. And that's done, so we can cut that off. And let's take a look and see how we're doing. So our descent's asking us to descend faster, so I'll go ahead and speed us up. Let's come on down to about 3,000 feet a minute. Keep it coming down. So we want to be sure we cross Shine at 12,250 knots is what they, I'm sure, will assign us. And finishing up the descent checklist, landing data we've done, VREF, yes. We're waiting on our ATIS so we can set up our approach, and then we'll brief the approach. So it's the only thing we got left. I'm pretty sure we're going to be landing to the north in Charlotte. I'm expecting to use, I'm going to actually ask for runway 36 left or 36 center, and mainly so I don't have to taxi so far once we get down. There's the ATIS, right on time. Back. Okay, let's go ahead and put the tower back in there. We're good with that. And quit monitoring that. There we go.
Citation CJ2, contact Atlanta Center 124.3
Atlanta Center on 2435 for citation 6 X-ray Zulu. Good day. Atlanta Center, citation 736 X-ray Zulu, descending through flight level 240 for 230.
Citation 736 X-ray Zulu, Atlanta Center, cross Shine at 1,250 knots.
Shine at 12,250 knots for citation 6 X-ray Zulu. So we got to get our vertical speed coming back on down. Keep that descent going. 2,500 feet a minute should do it for us. And come in with just a little bit more power. So we're showing about 2,400 foot a minute. We're at flight level 220 right now, and coming down to flight level 120 and 250 knots at Shine is what we want. So yeah, we'll get a chance here to see the mountains. So the forecast really looked pretty rough. In fact, they're calling for some snow and ice. So we're going to keep an eye out for that. And bad visibility. We're in the turn. And we are going to be expecting the GPS 36 center approach, so we'll go ahead and get that loaded in as we continue our descent. Coming through 200, 2,500 feet a minute, and I think we can start slowing that up just a little bit. And just a tad more power back in there, keep our speed up. And let's go in here and load up that approach. So we want to go to procedures and approach, and let's go down and make sure we pick the right one. So the RNAV 36 center, LPV GPS 36 center, that's the one we want. We're going to load that up. And okay, reach vertical profile coming through 18,000 feet, and the altimeter setting was 3010. So we'll go ahead and set that up in here. Planet 3010. There we go. And let's get back in here and look at our map. Zoom us in a little bit. There's Shine coming through 17,000. And I'm still calling it 2,200 foot a minute. We're doing 23, so it should be about right. We've got to watch our speed right here at the red line, and we're going to probably be coming down in the clouds, so we'll get on some anti-ice if necessary. So just looking at the approach, the GPS RNAV Y runway 36 center approach, and the descent decision altitude is 907 feet. The airport elevation is at touchdown zone is 707 feet, so about 200 feet above touchdown zone. And I'm not sure how far they'll take us down, but we'll be getting vectors to final. The final approach course is 003. Missed approach, climb to 3,000 feet, go direct to Tommy. And so all that's in the GPS. We should be in good shape coming down on 15,000 and coming up on this intersection, Swink, and then Shine. And at that point we should be, let's see, 2,100. So we're looking good on our descent rate. I'm going to ease back on our power a little bit and start slowing us up. Shine's not too far in front of us. Now let's see, Charlotte approach was, I was going to make sure I had that in there, and I think I may have switched that. 3475, so go ahead and dial that in over here in the standby. So we got tower there, okay. All right, so how are we doing? 13,000, 270 knots, and not far away from Shines at all, so we're going to go ahead and back our power off. And we got 2,300 set, coming right up on Shine, so yeah, we're going to be leveling off just about right. And 240 knots, I'd say we made our crossing restriction just fine. And we'll add a little bit of power in, keep our speed up.
Citation 6X-ray contact Charlotte approach 134.75.
Approach on 3475, citation 6X-ray Zulu, so long. All right, we're going over to approach now. Approach, citation 736 X-ray Zulu, level 12,000 with Quebec.
Citation 736 X-ray Zulu, Charlotte approach. Expect the GPS 36 center approach.
Okay, we'll expect the GPS 36 center approach for citation 6 X-ray Zulu. So So let's see how we're doing here. We're level at 12,000. We definitely need to add some power, or we're going to be asked to keep our speed up. There's a lot of traffic coming in Charlotte, although today we have the airport to ourselves, and the reason why is because this airport, I forget who it's by right off the top of my head, but it is extremely heavy on the frame rates. I tried to fly it with a little bit of traffic in there, and of course the AI traffic can really mess up your day, and so I decided not to fly with any traffic. So we have the whole airport to ourselves, but the airport is extremely frame rate heavy, especially with any traffic. So there's that. But anyway, we're coming on into Charlotte. Everything's just lovely. So the charts are displayed here on the GPS. As we get a little closer, we'll be able to see that. Nice handy feature.
Citation 6 X-ray Zulu, descend and maintain 4,000.
Down to 4,000 for 6 X-ray Zulu. All right, so we're going to go down to 4,000. Keep our speed down below 250 because we're going to be coming down 10,000 here just momentarily. I'll go ahead and get on our landing lights since we are. And we're in the descent. The airport's dead ahead, but we're going to have to fly pretty far past it, turn around, come back, and land to the north. So looking at this one of the reasons I like to have the rows up here so I can see the layout of the runway. So the north runway be coming from this direction. There's north. So we're going to come up here and turn and come back and land, descending through 11,000 feet. And let me just review what's in front of me. So we have checked our altimeters and set those. Let's go ahead and put on the seatbelts. We put on landing lights. So we'll be doing the approach checklist momentarily. I think I heard a dog bark. It's crazy. Somebody snuck a dog on here. I may not have mentioned it, but also Billy Graham, evangelist, is from the Charlotte area. Fun fact. There have been a number of crashes at the Charlotte airport, too numerous to mention. It is a very busy airport over the years. Certainly have been, it's had its share of crashes. If you're interested in them, you can Google them, look them up, and if I have time, I'll tell you. So we're holding about 230 knots here in this part of the descent, which is good. I do think we're going to be coming into the cloud layer here fairly soon, so we'll go ahead and in anticipation of that, let's come in here and get on some anti-ice. So we're definitely going to want to put on our engine anti-ice, and wing and engine is what we're looking for, and we'll put our tail in the auto position. We don't need the cross flow. The alcohol is standby. We've got the windshield heat on, pitot-static heat on, anti-ice is all good. Let's take a look over here. We don't have any lights on, fuel boost is on. So in anticipation for we can go ahead and cut our ignition switches up to on position. Fuel boost is normal, we'll leave that there. And let's see, engine sync will come off. Go ahead and bring that off. Fuel transfer is off, flaps are up right now. Anti-skid is on, we never cut it off, that's okay. And our pressurization should be good. Ignition's on, and fuel boost is norm. So everything's looking good, coming down through 8,000 feet. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be in these clouds here momentarily. See, keep an eye on our speeds, just holding in there about 230 knots. So that's pretty good, doing 260 across the ground. So I think we're set to come in and fly this approach and come in here and take a look at it. We've got a ways to go. We'll be there shortly. So we'll be making a turn here momentarily and coming out this way. Although I do think I need to be sure I've got that approach loaded. Something's not looking right to me. Let's see. I do have it loaded, right? Yeah, there's my next leg right there. We should be turning. I think I'm just seeing some lines. This map's getting a little busy. We are going right to 183, so all that looks good. Let's bring our engine indicators back up. Right turn, Clyde. Let's see if we can get in and see any of this fixes. So we're just about a beam of the airport right now, although I doubt we can see it. Actually, I can see it right through there. Good enough. And this is Lake Norman, I think, that's on this side of the airport. There's a nuclear plant up here somewhere. I don't know if we'll be able to see it today. And Queen City is back over here. Interstate 85 goes right by. So I'm pretty familiar actually with this part of the country. And still in our descent. And I'm in this airport traffic area. Go ahead and slow us up a little bit. We are in the clouds now. So we'll keep focused here on the instruments. Thing I want to do is go ahead and get our heading synced up. So we are going to get vectors to final. Definitely in the soup here. Let's take a look at the outside air temperature. And it's 9 degrees Celsius. So it's still good to keep the heat on. I know there's freezing weather in the forecast, so we're just going to go ahead and keep that heat on as we prepare to fly the approach into Charlotte Douglas International. Did I mention it was home of the Carolina Panthers? So we got tower in COM 1, and we've got the approach controller over here in COM 2. Everything's just beautiful, level at 4,000. Definitely got some precip happening right now. So in anticipation for the turn, I'm going to go ahead and go into heading mode. So we've got the heading synced up right here, and let's go in here and activate vectors to final because we're going to be getting a turn here momentarily. So we want to go to procedures and activate vectors to final. So now we've got the course indicator pointing the right direction, and we'll just wait on our turn right now. And I was right where I wanted to be. So right there. easing our power back just a little bit and getting us slowed up. We should be getting turned pretty soon. Almost looks like ice forming there, but I think it's just a reflection.
Citation 6 X-ray Zulu, turn left heading 090.
Left to 090 for Citation 6 X-ray Zulu. So there's that turn we were expecting, 090.
Maintain 16,000 American.
Too far, right there. 090. And the turn.
Citation 6 X-ray Zulu, 4 miles from Phoenix, turn left heading 030, maintain 4,000 until established on final approach course clear for the GPS, 36 center approach.
Left to 030, maintain 4,000 until established, cleared for the GPS, 36 center approach for Citation 6 X-ray Zulu. Alright, so we're getting turned in.
Yeah, departure American 1542, 2,500, great, 8,000. American 1542, departure, we're at contact, center, Yo, final maintain 16,000.
030 here in the box.
6,000, American 1542.
And I can see we're about 1.5 miles from intercepting. Final approach course. And I see vertical glide path guidance indicating. Everything looks good. Ease our power back a little bit. Get us slowed up. And we'll go ahead and start turning in for intercept. Got a little wind coming off the left. And let's go into nav mode. Let the nav take it. And we will arm the approach here when we get established. And when this gets within 1 dot of being here, we'll go ahead and drop the gear.
Citation 6 X-ray Zulu, contact the tower, good day.
Over to the tower, 6 X-ray Zulu, see you.
Tower Citation 736 X-ray Zulu with you, GPS 36 center approach.
Citation 736 X-ray Zulu, Charlotte Tower, wind 0407, runway 36 minutes, clear to land.
Clear to land, Citation 6 X-ray Zulu. Flaps, we have not set yet. Hold off a little bit longer. We're still fairly far out here. Oh, looks like we're breaking out of the clouds. Good. We're keeping the speed up fairly high because there is typically a lot of airline traffic that comes in here, and they will generally fly their approaches fairly quick. So you can expect to have to fly yours quick if you're coming in on a light jet. And so we've done the approach checklist. We just got to do our before landing. And here comes the glide path. So we'll go ahead and drop our gear. Gear coming down. In transit, 3 greens. Gears down. Get the first stage of landing flaps in. And let's get the approach armed there. Way too late. There we go. I almost forgot that step. We definitely want to see a descent, and we do. And we're coming down the glide path now. Okay, so we can go down. Our decision altitude was 900 feet and go all the way down to there if we need to. Actually, 907 feet is our minimums. And right now we're indicating 150 knots. I think that's a good speed. We'll hold that right there, 66% N1. And we got our lights on, yes. And I have the runway in sight, 36 center. So there's 36 left, 36 right over there, 36 center. Right where it should be.
2500.
That startled me. So I'm going to keep the speed on up here until we get it into the final approach fix, which is right there. And then we can start slowing it up, getting close to the approach speed. So then about another mile. Yeah, it's a little bit bumpy. Let's see, where's our wind coming off the nose there? 3 knots. Landing checklist. We have flaps set. Autopilot is still on. Yaw damper we will cut off. Airspeed VREF. So just another couple of seconds here and we will be bringing that down to VREF. Things are a little rough here in Charlotte. So there's the skyline, Queen City, banking capital. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's a large banking center, that's for sure. So we're going to start easing that power back. Getting slowed up to the approach speed. And we'll get another stage of flaps here momentarily. We're about 4 mile final right now.
339, turn left heading 310. Yeah, 310.
I don't want to get too much slower. So we'll go ahead and get landing flaps in, get everything stabilized. Let's see where that slows us down to. A little bumpy here. Keep the yaw damper on till the end.
339, contact departure, big day. Departure, all 339, thanks.
About 123 right now. 3 mile final.
1000.
1,000 to go.
330, takeoff, first turn, 36
Ease back on the power just a touch. Slow us up just a little bit more. I'll be taking command here momentarily. Probably about 500 feet. Doesn't feel like that yaw damper's doing much. I think we'll go ahead and take control. Autopilot, yaw damper. I have the helm.
500.
500.
Right to 1108 Tower Tower, runway 32 train, clear to land, traffic holding in position. Clear to land, American 1108.
I pretty much try to keep the power on this airplane until touchdown, or right at touchdown.
300.
A little bit of a glide path there.
Minimum 200.
Even off the power just a little bit.
100.
Departure breaker at 3658.
50.
Now backing off the power.
40. 30. 20. 10.
And ground flaps. There we go. Ground flaps, spoilers, and we hit the brakes. Flaps coming up.
Right next taxiway, contact ground point 9er.
Right next taxiway for 6 X-ray Zulu. Ground point 9er.
$100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, we have arrived, ladies and gentlemen, safe and sound. Welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina. Queen City, also known as the Hornet's Nest, home of the Carolina Panthers. Those leads are off. This one off, and off. I think that one. Oh, that's the cross flow. We don't want that. Yep. And this one. There we go. So all those are off. And let's run through our. Get rid of these, and let me see. Our after landing flaps are up. Ignitions go. Beg your pardon. Ignitions we can go normal. And pedostatics off, landing anti-collision, all that's off. Taxi lights are on. Let's see, all the way down. Yep, they're on. And transponders ground automatically. And ground on .9er.
Ground citation 736 X-ray Zulu just off 36 center at Echo 5, and we'd like to go to Wilson Air.
Citation 736 X-ray Zulu, Charlotte ground, taxi via Mike 2, off runway 5, Alpha Park.
Mike 2, cross runway 5, Alpha to parking. Citation 6 X-ray Zulu.
Using our handy dandy safe taxi.
And while we're taxiing into parking, I do want to point out a couple of things that Ray Marshall told me after watching part 1 of this video. I did not think that there was a home key in the 3D cockpit for the GTN-750, but in this photo you can see actually the home key is pretty much in the same place it is on the 2D version, up in the upper right hand corner. So you can click there and get back to this page at any point. Also, in this photo you can see there is a shortcut for moving back and forth between the flight plan page and the map page, which is real handy. I wish I had known that earlier. I'm sure there are other shortcuts and tips and tricks to the GTN-750 I haven't learned yet, but these should help you with this installation in the CJ2.
So I hope you enjoyed this trip and learning a little bit about the CJ2. I know I did, and I look forward to our next flight. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be a flight in, what was I going to fly? The TBM 850, that's it. And I'm going to take a little flight local, not too far away, about an hour or so from here. Actually a real world flight, IFR flight that I took a few years ago, and to a little place called Tangier Island, which is out in the Chesapeake Bay. So look forward to doing that with you and having you come along, and we'll see if we can learn a little bit about the TBM 850. Great airplane. So I'm seeing the Charlotte skyline there off in the distance. Very nice. Pick up our speed here just a little bit. It's a big airport. It takes a long time to get anywhere here, which is why I wanted to land on 36 Center, so I didn't have to taxi like 12 miles to get somewhere to park. And so this runway here, 235, he did clear us to cross that. And it is used primarily for a taxiway. Actually, they have so much traffic on these 3 parallel runways that they typically use this one for a taxiway, for just an extra taxi. So pretty cool. And then back to the right.
Bravo, shot. T-Mod 4869, continue via Charlie Cosmic 5, hold short of Alpha.
And then I think we're going to be parking right over here at this little place. Looks like it's all set for us. Blowing snow here. Actually should be looking up here at the light. Come up just a little more. There we go. We'll call that good. Alright, shutting down. Get those avionics off. Get in here where I can see. Standby gyro can come off. Generators, get those off. Ignitions we'll leave them in normal. Fuel boost, everything off there. All that's off. These lights here can come off. And anti-collision lights can come off. And I accidentally cut our beacon off. Shouldn't be off yet, nor should the navs. They got cut off in the confusion somewhere. Passenger safeties can come up, and we'll get this air conditioner off too. These fans off here. Shut everything off, and let's get this back here where we can see. Get these engines shut down. There we go. All right, that should do it. Force, and just need to let those wind down. Be sure we have a good shutdown. I believe we do. Set our parking brake. Put our control lock in. And there it is. Battery's off. And climb out this bad boy here. So there's a little click spot right there. There you go. Alright, well, we're going to get this door open, get out of here, and sign off, and say once again thanks for joining us, and look forward to seeing you on the next flight. Click spot right there. There we go. Watch your head. Okay, well, weather doesn't look as bad as what I think was in the forecast, so fortunately we got in here safe and sound. Glad to be here, and welcome North Carolina.
So that'll wrap it up for this edition of FS Mania. Thanks again for joining me. Thanks again for the CJ2 Mod Squad over at AVSIM for the great work they did on this airplane. Awesome job, and thank you again, Ray Marshall, for all your help. Stay tuned for the next episode of FS Mania. We'll be flying the TBM 850. And until then, from FS Mania, so long.
314 Mike Romeo, sector 136 right flank, taxi V left turn Delta.